I realized from a very early age that one, sales is sales, and two, the idea that you're going to go off and sort of ignore the standard system of 9 to 5, industrialized labor, that process, whether you're selling drugs, houses, or, starting a business, the idea that you're going to have to break away from the system and do your own thing is extremely similar. And so I love that you made that comparison because I think it's very appropriate.
Yeah, and it was funny because when I would go back to my old neighborhood or see my old friends, they would always say, "Man, you're doing so well. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I literally had the conversation with a bunch of people, and I just got tired of having the conversation, so I wrote a book. And then I noticed that the book was actually working. People were reaching out to me saying they found my book in the prison system. People were reaching out to me telling me that they found my book and stopped selling drugs. So I was like, "Oh shit, I'm on to something here, right?" Let's keep talking more about this book. Start partnering with different agencies locally. Whether it be the courts or different, law enforcement departments saying, "Hey, when you guys are out there pulling people over and searching them and, taking them to jail for weed, if you see some potential in people, if you understand that you're really about your community, like give them my book." So I've given away hundreds of books just to people that I know who are on the front lines dealing with this issue. So, hey, we gotta solve our own problems. That's the type of person I am. So that's what I did.
I love it because, real estate and financial freedom solves a lot of problems, right? But you took it a step further, which is let's connect with the people who like the idea that you're handing a book about how to get out of the drug trade and into real estate as a way to achieve financial freedom and change your life. And you're finding a way to give it to people who are essentially getting arrested for that.
Yeah.
You're literally changing people's lives, which I think is just really cool, right? Because it's okay, financial freedom is great, but 1,000 people reaching financial freedom is one thing, but if you can get 1,000 people to just get from the negative to balance, right? That's a huge step that a lot of people, it's not as sexy to talk about, but it's huge.
No, I agree. And no matter what I'm working on, I always want to alleviate the statement "I didn't know," right? Because when I was in corporate, when I came back from the military and got into the corporate industry, I was a trainer. I was a corporate trainer. So traveling around the world, I actually launched the very first Android phone, in the United States. So, wrote a bunch of curriculum for that, traveled around to different places and trained different companies, cellular companies on the phones. But the goal was to eliminate "I didn't know" so that the customer, if you will, could get the best, have the best result, right, when experiencing the product. So for me, it's well, shit, that works in everything. If I can have a conversation with a kid who all they've seen is, for lack of better words, a bunch of hood shit, and it's well, man, this guy looks just like me and he's from my same neighborhood, but he made it out, which we can talk about that later because I feel that shouldn't even be the premise. But hey, here's the example of what it looks like. And when you provide the example of what it looks like and you just scale that up, then, success or being able to obtain success becomes normal. And it's not associated with, playing a sport or, singing a song or doing a dance. It's actually rooted in business that you can actually scale and teach your family. So that's what I'm all about.